right, this next project is still breaking passwords, but this one's breaking passwords on an online system. Okay, there's a slight problem though. I didn't give you all backtrack. I will have you one by tomorrow. You can live without it though. You can use ZenMap for Windows. You can use Hydra for Windows. So either way it'll work. But I totally forgot to give you a machine. Some of you already have one, like Rebecca has one, and quite a few of you already have a backtrack machine. So I'm going to demo it to you in backtrack. And those of you who don't have it, I'll give you all a machine tomorrow morning. Sound good?
Yes.
With that? So I'll give you one. Okay. So what this says is to gain an understanding how to break passwords in online systems, because that seems to be one of the most important things since everybody's trying to hack into stuff. Everybody do it yourself. It says scenario, the administrator has called you, need access to a system and some information on that system. But they forgot the IP address of the system, the usernames and passwords for the systems. You're determine the credentials, in other words, usernames and password, and retrieve the general purpose RSA keys. Who has no clue what I just said? Okay. General purpose RSA key. RSA is an encryption technique. It's used with SSL certificates for surfing the web. It's used for a lot of stuff. We'll cover it in great gory detail in computer security. But once you find out the system, I'm not going to tell you how to get them. But once you find the system and get into the system, look at which type of system it is. Then there's this awesome website called Google. You type in the system name, retrieve general purpose RSA keys, and I'll tell you how to do it. Okay, pretty simple stuff. Okay, we're here to retrieve the RSA and encryption RSA keys. Okay, it's not that difficult to do. Trust me, it's not. Okay, you're supposed to identify the system and then look at the appropriate documentation for that type of system. For instance, if you broke into a Microsoft FTP server, you would look at the documentation for Microsoft FTP server. Easy enough? If you get in there and absolutely spend hours and days, can't get it, well then figure it out anyway. No, I can help, but it's not that difficult. Okay? The tools you need are Nmap or ZenMap, and also Hydra. Okay? They all have Windows equivalents, so you can do it on Windows if you want, but you have to do it on or inside of our lab. It has to be done inside the lab. So you can use your Windows forensics machines. William, do you know if they have Nmap on them, the Windows machines?
They do.
So there you go. You can find it at least. But I'll put your backtrack ones up there for you. Okay? I'm going to demo all this. Okay? With Nmap, you can use to find the machine. Nmap stands for Network Mapper. We're going to scan the network to find it. I give you the network range right there. Okay? Okay, so find the machine with Nmap. Then use Hydra to break it, which I'm going to demo for you. Okay? Then use whatever tools or techniques you need to retrieve the information above, the RSA keys. It's not that difficult. Okay? If you find something outside of this range, that's not your machine. I had people scan the entire network and come up with all these machines, and it's not it. It's in that range. Okay? So, Nmap or ZenMap, the whole locate machine, and then look for the services. Now, Hydra, I'm going to walk you through using Hydra. I'm actually going to walk you through using both of them. Hydra, this is pretty much the way the commands work. Okay? You're going to make an ID text file, which you'll see more about in a second. You're going to make a list of usernames, because you don't know what the username is. Okay? Then you're also going to use a password file, which I gave you. Okay? Password file is in the Dropbox. Okay? And then -T2 is the number of threads. Someone actually asked me the question to tell you what threads are. I'm assuming some of you don't know what threads are. Threads is like a process. It's kind of like at Walmart, you got 20 cash registers, that's like 20 threads. Okay? So how many threads should you use? Now certain systems, like SSH for instance, if you hit it with too many threads, it has a built-in ignore function, where it basically starts ignoring you. And it won't tell you that it's ignoring you. It does it for security. Okay? So don't make the threads too high. Okay? But I will tell you this, the threads on this one are you can go higher than 2 on these. The system you're connecting to. Okay? Alright, using a higher number may cause unreliable results, but they're not that bad on this one. Okay? Then the output file to store the results to. You don't have to store it to a file, but you can. You could output the results to the screen, but that's kind of hard because you might miss it. Okay? There's also a couple other commands we'll look at. Now on here also you'll see the IP address you're connecting to. Obviously this is not the correct IP address. You're going to be connecting to something like that. This is the protocol to use right here. Okay? And this F means stop when you found it. Excuse me. And the dash D basically says, no, S is the port, the service port. Yeah. S is the service port, that's 25 for SMTP. You're not using SMTP. F, stop when you found it. V shows you the results on the screen. But I'll show you how to do all this in a second. Then you put your protocol in there and you put the port of the system. Okay? Now, the usernames. Okay, usernames can contain any valid character for the protocol. What I mean by that, has anyone ever used Banyan Vines before? Probably none of you. When I first got hired here at Rose, I was a network administrator for the military, for a couple companies around town. They hired me here at Rose. They told me my username was Ken Space Dewey. I said, it's impossible. You cannot have a space in your username. Well, the Banyan Vines you can. I would have sworn up and down that was impossible. But check whatever protocol you're using and only check valid characters. In the past, okay, well actually I did here. So I give you dashes, I give you periods, I give you spaces. Not all these might work. You need to determine which ones are correct. Okay? So once you find the protocol, like this example up here was SMTP, figure out what a valid username would be in that and only check those. It was a semester or two ago, we were using a totally different system, but people were using a space and it caused the system to crash. So only use the valid characters supported by your protocol. Okay? Usernames are all lowercase. Okay? Okay? Usernames are mangled with, basically, find your name on the right. Like Daniel right here. Your name to use is Mary Arnold. So you need to mangle Mary Arnold. It could be Mary Arnold or Mary Arnold or M Arnold or Arnold M or M-A or A-M. See what's wrong with this? Okay. So mangle your name. Here are some examples. Again, there's tons of other ways to do it. I will tell you this. We do not duplicate names. Todd Claus. Anyone know Todd in here? Todd was an interesting student. Todd was one of those, you give him something easy and he tries to figure out the hardest way he could possibly do it. Todd found a website to mangle names. And I told him, I don't duplicate names. But he would put the names in this system, like back then they were using their own name. Okay? And he was trying things like Todd, or Todd calls Todd. It's like, because there's sites out there that'll do the mangling, but they'll duplicate names. They'll give you partial names. Oh, it's just so screwed up. They're just basic mangling. Okay? Nothing. But I could use MA or M-A or AM, stuff like that. But I'm not going to go in there and I'm not going to do Mary AR. That's not going to happen. And I'm not going to see William changes the bill. Okay, I'm not doing any of that. I don't remember any of them are in here. Okay?
Bob to Robert.
Yeah, I'm not going to change Bob to Robert or Robert to Bob. I'm not going to do that. So, find your name. All you should be in this list. Find your name over there. That's the one you must do. If you like extra credit, there's some more names. Some of you want extra credit, so you can get some more. Okay? And I think where do I say it? Down here. Okay? What?
I don't think they had all the names in the class.
Did it?
My name's not on there.
What, did you delete your name or something?
Which name is mine?
There's only 20. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Well, crap. Okay, work on the extra credit names initially. I forget. D2L only shows the first 20 names, and there's 25 of you in the class.
I don't think I happen to see me either.
And what's your last name?
Ritter, R-I-T-T-E-R.
Yeah,
You don't
it's
think it was
alphabetical.
the O?
We stopped at O. I'll fix that. Man.
God, kid. Just can't get a save
Just
in
blame
house
Roy,
file,
he's your
can you?
assistant.
Oh, I knew it was too easy. I knew I did it too easy. I'll add those in there.
Okay.
But just start with the extra credit in the meantime. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right, now let's continue on. Thank you for interrupting. No, that's, I know exactly what happened. It says it only lists 20 per page, and I didn't even go to the second page to get the rest of you. All right.
So, kid, that's a quiz at OSU, and now
Yeah, oh,
project
worse than this, OSU was working on a quiz for computer security. It's matching. Has 40 words and 40 answers. It only imported 25. So they got these answers with no matching words. They called me today, I'm like, and the weird thing is like 7 of them all had number 1 as the answer. It's like, it totally screwed up the import, so great. So, oh well. All right, now, passwords, there's a file called english.txt. It's in the Dropbox, and it's also in the content page. Use that. I was nice enough, it used to only have 150 words in it. I made it 1,000. So it's a little better now.
Thanks, kid.
I didn't want y'all to be bored with only 100 passwords. That's boring. Okay, but what you need are in there. Okay, save them to your backtrack or your Windows machine and use those, okay? All right, then use Hydra to determine what they are. There's Windows equivalents of both, like I said. You can do all of this 100% inside your Windows machine. Nmap's already on there. If Hydra's not on there, all you gotta do is go on this website called Google, type in Hydra, Windows, done. It's on SourceWords, I'm pretty sure. Okay? All right, what I want from you, no formal report. I want to know the usernames and passwords you used, and I want the keys you retrieved, okay, and the commands you used. Okay? That's all I want. In other words, what was the nmap command you used? Don't just say, I clicked the button. Someone literally did that. I didn't use the command, I clicked the button. Well, it generates a command. Okay? And the Hydra command. So I want to know the commands you used. Okay? Then if you break any additional ones, I just need the names and the passwords. You can have 2% additional for each additional name up to 10%. So you can't have a double score, like 200 points on this. Okay? Are we okay on this? Okay? All right. And they're magled exactly the same. I will make a note to add the rest of you in there. But you can start with the extra credit ones. I can't believe I forgot half the names. All right. All right. It just sucks. Okay, now, backtrack. Well, come on. Open up. If I can get it to open. Well, why can't I open this stupid thing? We want this one.
Luckily, this is the
Come on. I want the stupid thing to load. Oh, you're driving me crazy here, machine. Okay, it's right here. Come on. Does anyone know how to restore a window when it's stopped doing its thing?
Hold down your control or shift and go maximize.
Or am I? We're gonna get it yet. I did the wrong one.
You might just have to close and reopen. I don't have that problem. It's really.
All right, hold on. I can't even close it now. What the hell? All right, let me close all these. All right, I'm gonna bring it back up since obviously it's working so well. I'm gonna demo how to do this here. Connecting. There we go. Hopefully everybody knows how to use this software by now. Yes, no, maybe, hopefully. If you don't, suffer.
Any
No.
news on when they're going to fix it for the wireless?
Same day they fix our email.
Now I have the other one memorized.
All right. This is backtrack. Okay. I'm going to log in with root, and the password is
Tor.
Tor.
password one.
Yeah, root backwards. Did Dubay ever show up? No. Okay.
He's not here.
All right. If you want to get the GUI, you type start X inside of here. Okay. So inside of backtrack, you type start X. I know it's hard to see, especially in the cheap seats in the back, but this will bring it to GUI in a minute. I'm going to show you how to do this. And I'm not going to scan the correct network, but that's okay. Now, under here, in applications, under backtrack, information gathering, network analysis, network scanners, ZenMap. Everybody with me? Again, there's a Windows version. I actually installed the Windows version this week, and it identical. You can't even tell the difference. Okay? I'm going to scan one system because I happen to know this system has what I want. Okay? This is not the one you're using. Did you all hear that? It's not the one you're using. Okay? Don't use this one.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
Exactly. These are not the droids you're looking for. All we need is a quick scan. It's fine. What this is going to do, it's going to actually, well, yeah, it'll work. You'll notice it created a command. Everybody see the command right there? So even though I only clicked a button, you see the command? Yes? No? Good. All right. Okay, what this did is it found a bunch of services and a bunch of ports. Everybody see that? And this is not the system you're going to be playing with. Okay? But, so we have FTP, HTTP, some RPC, some IIS type stuff. So this happens to be our file server. You know, when you go to the um.cyber.rose, this is the actual machine. Okay? So I'm going to pretend FTP is what we're going after. So, but you'll see the services. So remember on the Hydra line where I showed SMTP at the end and then I dash S and the port number? This would be the service and this would be the port. Everybody okay with that? Okay. Now I'm going to go over here again, backtrack, and that's privilege escalation, password attacks, online attacks. Hydra GTK is what you want. Hydra GTK. Okay? Now, pretty simple to do. Again, I already know my machine, so we're going to go with my machine. Okay? You can give it a single machine, or you can give it an entire range. If you're not sure, make a list of them. You can actually go from a list. Because you're going to be scanning one range. It's probably the only machine in that range. But if there's more, you could put a list in there. Okay? Now, on this, which port would I use if I'm going after FTP?
25. Or 23.
21. 21! Come on, dude. 23 is telling that. All right, so I'm going to change the protocol to FTP. I'm going to change the port to 21. Okay? Now, it's not going to happen on this project. Okay? Remember how I mentioned, maybe I didn't mention in this class, but at my house, I use port 20. But I tunnel port 20 over HTTP to get a web interface up and running. So just because it says FTP, it might not be the right port number. But for this project, it will match perfectly. Okay? But in the real world, a lot of people change ports all the time. So if you try to connect to my port 21 in my house, you're not going to get FTP. You're going to get a web browser. Connect to 8080, you're going to get a web browser. Connect to a whole bunch of different ones, you're going to get all kinds of different stuff. Okay? So based on what we found, we're going to use FTP and 21. Everybody with me so far? So we got FTP and we got 21. Okay? Now, I can use SSL encryption. Now, see this command at the bottom? Watch what happens when I do show verbose. There's that V. It put the dash V in. So it's building the command for us. And I explained what all these were in that other document. And I can do show attempts, which is the capital V. Okay? You don't need those, but you'll as we get there. And we're going to come up with a username. Now, I'm going to minimize this stuff real quick. On my desktop over here, I'm going to go create a document, an empty file. I'm going to call it usernames.txt. I'm going to create another file called passwords.txt. Now you guys are going to use the english.txt file because I already gave you that. Okay, so I'm going to go up to usernames. Okay, and I'm going to use Brian.Babcock. This happens to be the name we're after. I happen to know the name, so that's why I'm just putting it in 3 different ways. Okay, So you're going to mangle your username. You're going to put it in a file, just like this. Everybody with me? Yes? No? Maybe?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm going to go over here and here, and you can check one username at a time. That could take forever. But if you click username list, and I'm going to go to my desktop, and I'm going to pick usernames and say open. There you go. So now it's going to use that text file as my username list. Now I'm going to go to passwords. I'm going to edit it. I'm going to put in dog, cat. Can anyone guess what it's going to be?
Cat.
No, cat.
Password one.
Okay, so I'm going to, now the password file you guys already have is the english.txt. So you're going to download it and put it in there. Okay. So for the username, for the passwords, I'm going to click over here. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go to passwords.txt. So now I have usernames and passwords. Okay. Now I could also use the CSV file if I wanted. I could also use try login this password. None of those are going to work. The bottom one's blank. Okay. Now tuning. I talked about the number of threads. Okay. Here's where you set the number of threads. If you set it too high, it might error out. Okay. I don't know what the max on this is, like 36 or something. But this -T16 at the bottom, that's where the threads come in. We'll just say I want to set it at 10 or something. Okay. This is a very important. This is probably the most important box of the entire program. If you don't check that, it will break the password and keep on going and try every other one. Because you could be using it to break multiple systems. So you definitely want to check that, or what will happen, see what you could do is you could go through your username and all the extra credit usernames, uncheck that box and say go. And it would literally go through all of them, and then you just got to go through the list to find the one that actually worked. It'll highlight them. If you check that, it's going to stop as soon as it finds one. Okay? You don't need any proxy type information. You don't need anything on this page. And then we're going to do start. Okay? And what it's going to do is trying to connect to that system.
You didn't check the password list. That's not.
I didn't? Are you kidding me? Oh, that might help. Thank you. Start. There it goes. Now you'll notice it's actually trying. It already found it. Mine was quite long. What it did is it went through the first name, Brian.Babcock, and it tried dog, cat, password 1, house, car. Then it went to the second username, Brian-Babcock, dog, cat, password 1. I kept going. Then it went to the third username, and the moment it got to it, it stopped. But see how that did it? Pretty simple stuff. Just make sure you check the quit when you find it, or else it would have just gone forever. Okay? And there's what we need. Now, for this project, we used FTP. So I'm going to use FTP. FTP 10.10.0.41. Okay? And the username was Brian dash. The password was password 1. Okay. Now I'm actually in a. I thought you put a file in there, William.
No, that was under the other one.
Oh, under the user.
Yeah.
Let me go into that one real quick. I'm going to connect. I'm going to use a different account. This one also gets me in, hopefully. Okay. Now I just did ls here for list. You're not using FTP, but you can see the file. There's a file in there, and I can actually get it by doing things like bin, stands for binary mode, in case you're wondering. Get cs logo black.png, and there you go. I got my file. So I used FTP to get the file. You guys are not using FTP this time. Last semester they did. Yeah, was it last semester?
No.
2 semesters ago. Yeah, 2 semesters ago they used FTP. So what I just did was I logged in, I got the file, and we're done. Okay. You guys remember, you're getting the RSA keys this time. You're not using FTP. Okay. Everybody okay on what we're doing with this? This tool is awesome, but it's really a dictionary attack tool. So if you go back to Hydra over here, because we specified a dictionary right here. Password list. Now if you go online, there is, if you go to the John the Ripper website, the one you all just played with a whole bunch, there's passwords up there. There is millions of word passwords. They just keep making them. Common passwords, all kinds of stuff. So you literally could put in a password file you download off John the Ripper. Like obviously you all know what my username is, because it's the same as everybody else. It's KDewey@Rose So you literally could use my name and download a password file off John the Ripper and just go forever. Mine's not in there. Darn it.
Yes, it is. I added it last
You added it last night? Okay. Does everybody understand how this tool works? Now, what this tool is doing is it's hitting the system trying to break into it. If we go back to the start page, what it did is it connected to the system using FTP, tried that username and that password, and it kept going until it found the correct one. Now, this is what's called very noisy, because if someone's monitoring the other end, like, you know how Windows, if you log in 3 times wrong, it screws it up? So what would have happened? I would have been locked out. Okay? So, which is a good thing.
Would this show up on Wireshark going nuts?
Yeah, it would, yes, it would. That would actually be kind of cool. If you want, just run Wireshark at the same time. And I don't have a long enough list to do it.
Is there a setting within Hydra or ZenMap where you can actually set a time limit? Like per attempt?
Oh, I think it's under tuning.
I think in ZenMap there is, in Hydra, I don't know.
I think there is one. Where the heck is it at?
ZenMap there definitely is, in Hydra, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure there is one, though.
There might be one in the command line version.
Yeah, this, by the way, this Hydra GTK is just a GUI front end for it. Because if you go to the bottom here, you see the actual command it's building. There's probably a command you could use to try 2, wait 5 minutes. Try 2 more, wait 5 minutes. Try 2 more, and wait 5
A couple
minutes.
milliseconds or
Right.
whatever it is per.
Exactly. But it's just not available in here. And even Nmap, this is just a graphical front end for the Nmap program. Okay. Now, I ran it against this system here, and we found it. With a quick scan, do we know what type of system this is? I'm going to go to host details. We don't know much. So it's going to be kind of hard to figure it out. But if once you find the system, do an intent scan on it. The reason I'm telling you this, it'll come back and actually tell you which operating system it's using, which type of system it's using, which operating system, because you're going to need to know the operating system and figure out how to get the RSA keys. That's going to be critical to you. Okay?
You can actually try this on routers and pull out what kind of router it is.
Yeah, you can pull out all kinds of
You
information.
can check and see if they're using a default password.
Right. So, this is going to take a little while. But it'll actually come back and it tells you what OS it's running, what version, everything. So I don't know how long this one's going to take. But don't do an intent scan on the entire network. Not a good thing, okay? All right.
It'll take 4 years and it won't give you any useful
Yes.
information.
This is just going to take a while. I'm not going to sit here and let it run forever. Okay? But once it does, you go to the host page here, and it'll actually show you all kinds of information about it. Okay? Everybody okay what you're going to be doing with this one? Next week is not password breaking. Guys getting upset with that. That's in 2 more weeks. But next week we're actually doing a network scanning project where I have some network traffic. You've got to tell me all about it. You got to read it and answer questions about it. Okay? All right. Is everybody okay with project 6, what you're going to do? This project will not take you all that long as you can mangle the username correctly. I gave you the password. That's not an issue. The username is what you need to worry about.
And the extra credit ones are using the same password list.
The same password list, mangled in the same format. They're nothing special. But if yours is MA, it doesn't mean all of them are just the first initial and last initial. Any questions? All right, if you guys are happy, you are free to go, and we will pick it up next week.
No, we can't work on this at home. We have to do it here.
You can do it from home. You can use the vSphere system from home.
Okay.
But we
Yeah,
can't
definitely.
use 10.10
It's labs.
Well, 10.10 you can do from inside.
inside here.
Inside, no, at home,
Okay.
using the vSphere system.
Yeah, it should connect to the network.
I tell you what, I will look in the morning if I can make a map. Actually, no, I don't have a mapping for that IP. If I had a mapping set up, you could have just connected right into it. But I don't have an external to internal net mapping for that device.
So just go inside and use that.
Yeah, I mean, just go in and log in. I mean, with a vSphere system, you can actually start the thing doing it and then close out the window. Now, if I sit here and close out this window right here, it's still running. All I got to do is go back in here, the next morning, go to open the console, and everything I was doing is still up. So you can literally start this thing going, then close it out. Come back into the next day. As long as you check the exit when found, it'll stop right when it finds it. Okay, easy enough. The Nmap part will be very quick. You're only checking a Class C network. You're checking all 200 machines. I think there's only one in there. Okay? Are you happy? Maybe? Somewhat? Ask me if you got any questions. I'll be here the rest of the week and next week. So.
Just don't leave your machines running all
Yeah. When you're done, turn your machine off. What I mean by that is, okay, up in here, I think you can do it through the command. Yeah, shut down. Shut down. I'm not going to save anything. When you're done with your machine, shut them off. And then it will go away. But I will cut you all backtrack machines. But I can tell it's running by the little arrow here, the green arrow. That will go off in a minute. But let's see if any of you have your machines on from the other class. Hold on. Forensics. Windows 7. Oh, look.